Mining involves the extraction of natural resources, which in turn drives our daily lives and economies. Fuel minerals such as coal and non fuel minerals such as iron ore provide raw materials to power other industries. But mining operations drain life from their surroundings. They result in biodiversity loss, depletion and pollution of water sources, displacement of communities, impact on livelihood, health hazards, and much more. Eventually, every mine has a finite life. The resources might run dry, or it could be closed due to economic, social, or other reasons. The improper closure of a mine can have negative consequences on the environment and society. The land has to be reclaimed post mining, and the environmental conditions need to be restored to a healthy state. The people need to be transitioned slowly to alternative jobs, and much more. As nations of the world are discussing and trying ways to reduce the use of fossil fuels and step into low carbon energy production to tackle climate change, a crucial aspect is to ensure that the process doesn't derail the lives of dependent people and the economy. This idea is called just transition. While India plans to increase its domestic coal production and also give a thrust to the overall mining sector, it is parallelly expanding on renewable energy to meet its goals of clean energy production. Thus, the state of opening, operating, expanding, and shutting mines, both fossil and non fossil, is an ongoing reality. What are the challenges to make these transitions in the mining sector just for the environment and the communities? India produces at least 88 minerals from mines spread across several states, but concentrated in Odisha, Rajasthan, Andhra Pradesh, Chhattisgarh, and Karnataka. India is also the second largest producer and consumer of coal after China, with about 55% of the country's energy supply dependent on coal. The value of mineral production, excluding atomic minerals, touched 2.82 trillion rupees in 2015-16. A decade earlier, the figure was 1.13 trillion rupees. But all of this comes at a cost. Most of the mines are present in forested areas, river basins, or near other sensitive ecosystems, or on land belonging to tribal and rural communities.
Can you do mining more sustainably? The answer is yes. Can you do it without any impacts? The answer is no. There will always be impacts when you do mining. But can you be more transparent and can you do it more sustainably? You protect as many ecosystems as possible.
The government has framed several laws and guidelines for mining companies to minimize negative impacts on the surrounding. But these laws are often flouted. For instance, an official audit of Coal India Limited, the world's single largest producer of coal, found several instances of safeguard violations.
माइनिंग के किनारे रहने वाले भी तो लोग हैं, वो गांव भी तो हैं, उनकी जिंदगी में जिनकी जमीन नहीं गई है, जिनका जंगल नहीं गया है, लेकिन उस खनन परियोजनाओं से वो लोग लगातार प्रभावित हैं, प्रदूषण से प्रभावित हैं, उनका पानी चला गया है, वो रोड एक्सीडेंट में मारे जा रहे हैं.
Mining destroys the environment. It also becomes the backbone of the state and local economy.
In its boom days, it gives so much revenue to the government that they deliberately encourage this industry. So in some parts like Dhanbad and all, you have nothing that local government collects except revenues from coal mining. Low revenue or no revenue collection post mining means no repair of roads, no construction of new schools, and so on and so forth. Railway receives over 50% of its share from transportation of minerals, particularly coal. Almost like 45% of railways freight revenue comes from coal, which is basically what they subsidize the passenger segment. You can't really arbitrarily increase the fares. So these are some larger issues that might emerge once you stop coal mining or once you decline coal mining.
For now, the emerging situation is to cope with the proposed increase in mineral production, especially coal. In 2017, the Environment Ministry granted coal mines exemption from public hearings for capacity expansion of mines up to 40%. The Mines Ministry has sought a similar exemption for non-coal mining projects too. Many believe this would hamper local communities from voicing their opinions and concerns.
People are thinking election to election. And when you want to plan just transition, it's a long-term process. You won't get the results in the 5-year period or 4-year period when you will face the next election.
For post-mining welfare of the region, mining companies are mandated to submit a mine closure plan to ensure that rehabilitation and restoration does not become a burden to the society after the mining operation is over. It includes the project to submit management plans for air quality, waste, topsoil, worker compensation, and so on. However, a lot of mined areas are left abandoned without restoration and reclamation.
माइनिंग होने के बाद आप उसको बैकफिलिंग करेंगे और जो ओवरबर्डन आपने रखा है उसको आप फेज वाइज उसको बैकफिलिंग करते हुए ऊपर की उपजाऊ मिट्टी है उस उपजाऊ मिट्टी को आप ऊपर डालेंगे और वापस प्लांटेशन करके उस जमीन को उपयोगी जमीन बना के आप वापस करेंगे। एक एग्जाम्पल छत्तीसगढ़ के अंदर नहीं है जहां पे माइनिंग क्लोज हुई हो, सारी की सारी माइनिंग ओपन पड़ी है। जो नदी किनारे रहने वाले मछुआरे समुदाय हैं जिन्होंने उस माइनिंग के लिए जमीन नहीं दी है, जो कोलबासली से निकला हुआ गंदा पानी है जब उस नदी में सीधे रूप से बहा जाता है, उस नदी के किनारे रहने वाले लोगों के ऊपर जो प्रभाव पड़ते हैं उन प्रभावों को कहीं आकलन नहीं किया जाता।
To address the crisis of climate change and phase out coal-based power, India has been boosting renewable energy. The country has a target of 175 gigawatts of renewable power by 2022, and of that, 100 gigawatts is from solar power. At the end of June 2020, India had an installed solar capacity of about 35 gigawatts.
There are, millions of people whose per capita energy is so low that in the future, if per capita India's energy consumption were to match, say, China, India will need large amounts of energy. What is being played out in India is that both renewables and coal are growing. Of course, renewables are growing faster, but at the same time, India is reliant on coal and will remain reliant on coal for some time. We have to separate fossil fuel, i.e. coal or oil, versus other mining. I do think that the overall mining industry will rise in India and globally because even if you want to transition to renewable energy, you need things like steel. So you would need iron ore, you would need copper, even for solar panels and wind turbines.
The journey to transition coal-based power to clean energy is not smooth either. A study led by PI found that India would need to install about 1,000 gigawatts of solar power, about 30 times higher than its present capacity, to transition about 500,000 people involved in coal mining. This also highlights the need for alternative jobs other than the renewable sector. Another risk is when large-scale renewable energy projects are implemented despite violation of land rights of communities and destruction of habitats such as desert and grasslands.
In my mind, one of the tragedies of India's clean energy transition is the mining belt and the clean energy transition belt are in different parts of the country. Mining is happening in Jharkhand, Chhattisgarh, which will suffer when mining stops. It's still suffering during the mining process. But the states that are gaining from clean energy are all in the southern or the western part of India.
According to PI, India has a policy that holds the strength to carry out just transition. It's called District Mineral Fund.
A large share, 10-30% of the royalty, goes to the district where mining is happening. A lot of these funds could be used for future jobs, for attracting future industries, for restoring this area.
Till May 2020, the District Mineral Fund collected from 21 states was about 380 billion rupees. About 60% of this amount was unspent. Misuse and transfer of these funds for other uses are other threats to fair transition.
One has to plan this in an integrated way. The central government, the state government, and the district government comes together and creates viable local plans that are doable.
While trying to project itself as a global clean energy leader, India continues its push on the mining sector to ensure rapid growth. How will the government, the environment, and the people cope with the rapid transitions is under question.